They thought I'd get nothing from Grandma's will, then I unplugged a USB and shocked everyone. In the small town of Willow Creek, strange things happened, but nothing could prepare anyone for what was about to unfold at Grandma Sadie's funeral. The air was thick with whispers as the family gathered, each person eyeing the antiquated laptop sitting on the card table, dust collecting on its screen like thick fog. People seemed to feel something was off. The way the wind rustled the leaves outside echoed the uncertainty swarming in the room. What could she have left? Murmured Aunt Marge, her voice quaking, as unease spread among the group like wildfire. Last year, Grandma Sadie had become an enigma, muttering about secrets and hidden treasures, her eyes glinting with mischief only a few understood. No one could make sense of her ramblings, much less predict what she had in store for them after her passing. The will, read aloud to everyone in a stuffy, silent room, promised only small trinkets and old photo albums, leaving everyone disappointed and confused. But just as it seemed the family was about to dissolve into disagreement, Savannah, her youngest granddaughter, caught sight of the USB drive gleaming like a hidden jewel amidst the clutter. It was tiny, inconspicuous, but it felt like a bolt of electricity buzzing in the air. Savannah felt an undeniable pull towards the USB. She hesitated only for a moment as her heart raced. Could this be the treasure Grandma mentioned? The oddities surrounding the drive were intoxicating, breathing life into an otherwise mundane scene. Ignoring the stern warnings of her relatives, Savannah sunk her nails into the fabric of her dress, determination singing in her veins, and unplugged the USB from the laptop, her fingers trembling as she held it up like the Holy Grail. That sudden silence. You could hear the collective gasp reverberating in the room as if the air had been sucked out. All eyes fixated on Savannah, disbelief morphing into raw curiosity. What could be on that little device? It felt monumental. Just then, Grandma's favorite mirror, hanging crooked on the wall behind her, cracked, drawing another wave of gasps. Lights flickered above, and Savannah's head spun. What in the world? She thought, fear creeping in like shadows at dusk. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. And just like that, Savannah was plunged into a whirlwind of unknowns, standing on the precipice between her grandmother's legacy and the dark secrets it could unveil. As the tension simmered, the USB felt heavier in her palm, almost pulsating with its own life. What could be hiding inside? She could feel the weight of eyes boring into her, filled with expectation and dread. With a deep breath, Savannah made the decision to open the file. Little did she know, this would flip her entire world upside down. As she clicked on the first document, a low, eerie hum resonated through the room. What secrets would it spill? The moment lingered, thick with suspense, as shadows danced ominously around them. The clock ticked louder as her heart raced. What had Grandma Sadie left behind? Savannah's heart thundered in her chest as the screen flickered to life. Lines of text began to cascade across the ancient monitor, and gasps filled the air like a rising tide. Dear family, the document began. The familiar script felt intimate, as if Grandma Sadie were speaking directly to each one of them. But Savannah hardly heard the words. A heavy hum enveloped the room, wrapping tight around her throat, choking back the scream that threatened to burst from her lips. The other family members leaned forward, peering intently over her shoulders. Aunt Marge's eyes widened, reflecting both hope and dread. In the silence, each person felt their past traumas hovering like ghosts, lingering secrets, buried grievances all weighing down the air. Savannah could sense them, hear the whispers of family betrayals and pain wrap around them like smog. What could Grandma have done to bring them all to this moment? Images materialized on the screen, one after the other, a faded photograph of a young woman, vibrant, laughing, her face full of life. Savannah squinted, recognition dawning. It was her mother at the age she barely remembered. Why was this picture here? Why now? Then came the next image, an old letter, the ink blurred but legible enough to make out the words. Intrigued, Savannah leaned in closer, her heart racing. It was addressed to Grandma Sadie, with a return address that sent chills racing down her spine. To my dearest Emily. Aunt Marge gasped audibly, her face pale. What? Who is Emily? She stammered, glancing nervously at Savannah, whose blood ran cold. Savannah, didn't you know? Her own mother was named Susan, not Emily. A flicker of anxiety ignited in her. I don't know, she stuttered, overcome with confusion. Grandma had never mentioned an Emily. The hum intensified, electrifying the space, as if the very walls were closing in. With trembling fingers, Savannah scrolled down, desperate and hungry for answers. Secrets can tear a family apart, the words danced on the screen. Grandma Sadie's voice echoed in Savannah's mind, warning them all of hidden truths. I hope this brings healing, but keep in mind some truths may hurt more than the pain they shadow. Frantic whispers erupted around her. Get it off the screen, ordered Uncle Ray, his voice sharp with panic. Others cried out, desperate to understand or to silence the unfolding drama. Savannah's vision blurred. The weight of those words settled into her bones, heavy like chains. What kind of damage had her grandmother concealed? Could it be connected to why everyone in this room seemed so dang desperate? Or was it something darker, something that could sever the last threads of their family bond altogether? Suddenly, all the power surged out of the laptop, plunging them into darkness. Panic surged as muffled curses erupted. Savannah's heart raced, her mind spun. The flickering light returned, not from the laptop, but from a corner of the room, one of Grandma's old lamps, now casting eerie shadowy shapes across their faces. As the laptop reignited, a single document appeared, ominously titled The Truth About Our Family. Savannah's breath caught in her throat. Was she ready to face whatever sinister legacy Grandma Sadie had left behind? The allure of the unknown was paralyzing, with the others breathing heavily around her. Savannah knew she couldn't turn back. What had she awakened? And just like that, the next revelation hung in the air, thick with unspoken dread. The screens flickered again, and the lights above them hummed ominously. What was lurking within those files? The moment had come for Savannah to confront the truth. Would it heal them, or would it tear them apart forever? Her fingers hovered over the mouse with a heart full of questions and a gut tight with fear. What lay behind this portal into her family's past? What dark secrets were waiting to unravel? Savannah's heart thundered wildly in her chest. The title of the document loomed over her like a celestial event. The Truth About Our Family. It felt like the breath of a tempest pressing down on them. The room shifted, shadows dancing across anxious faces as everyone clutched invisible threads of hope and fear. What do you see? Aunt Marge whispered, her voice trembling. With a flick of her wrist, Savannah clicked the mouse, the document unfolding like a dark flower exposing its secrets. The first line struck her like a punch. What you don't know can destroy you. She could feel the glances of her family, a tangle of expectant gazes and rising tensions. I can't do this, Savannah whispered, her hands shaking. Just read it. Uncle Ray shouted, his voice breaking the strained air. We need to know. Savannah hesitated. The words on the screen felt like thorns, dangerous and hot. Grandma Sadie hid many truths, the document continued, each word like a blow. As I write this, I hope you find clarity. But be prepared, there are those who will betray. Savannah's pulse quickened. Betrayal. Was that what had haunted her family for decades? She scanned the page, searching for something, anything that could explain the tumult surrounding them. The images flickered behind her eyes, her mother's smile taunting her. Grandma knew something, Savannah muttered, more to herself. A knot of tension curled tightly in her stomach. The whispers of her family grew louder. What did she know? Aunt Marge's anxiety echoed through the air. Savannah clicked again. New text appeared, each word spinning a thread of revelation. Emily is the daughter I never named, but you must understand, she was never the one, but neither was Susan. Savannah's breath caught. The implications crashed over her like waves. Her mother had a sister? The revelation felt impossibly heavy, twisting the already fraught legacy of pain and secrets further. It doesn't make sense, Savannah's voice faltered. Why would Grandma continue? Uncle Ray interrupted, his voice strained. What else does it say? Savannah pressed on, the fear creeping up her spine as paranoia tightened its grip. The past is not what it seems. To break the curse, you must understand the truth of your lineage. Curse? Aunt Marge's reaction was visceral, eyes widening. What curse? Before Savannah could answer, shadowy forms invaded her thoughts. Was their family haunted by something more profound, something far worse than petty secrets? A chill filled the air as she felt all eyes upon her, each gaze heavy with expectation and dread. Her fingers trembled as they scrolled, revealing blurred images that flashed onto the screen, faces she had never seen, eyes filled with grief and betrayal. These are the faces of those who fell victim to the shadows lurking in our bloodline. Shadows? Uncle Ray gasped. What does that even mean? Savannah felt an icy chill run through her veins. The room darkened, enveloping them in a suffocating atmosphere. I don't know, she cried, overwhelmed. But we seem to be cursed. The lights flickered overhead, sending the room into an eerie strobe of shadow and illumination. The files began to jumble, words colliding in chaotic patterns. Focus, she shouted, and finally, a name leapt out. Marcus. He runs the auction. Marcus? Aunt Marge echoed, voice shaking. Who is he? The lamp crackled as the lights shifted sharply, illuminating bloodless faces, twisted with disbelief, confusion veiling their fears. Savannah's instincts screamed at her, urging her to act. I have to find out more, she said, feeling a sinew of resolve coil within her. Whatever we were given is just the tip of the iceberg. And just as quickly, the lights died completely. A suffocating blackness descended upon them, swallowing their desperate breath. Savannah's heart raced as she whispered, what if we aren't the only ones looking for the truth? A shadow loomed in the corner of the room, a figure emerging from the depths, shrouded in darkness, clearly watching, listening to every word. Who is there? Savannah demanded, her voice trembling yet fierce. Silence engulfed them, heavy and thick, with the weight of the impending revelation dangling above. And then, just like that, a voice echoed from the shadows, sending chills racing down Savannah's spine. You should have never opened that file. What had she unwittingly unleashed? The breath caught in Savannah's throat as the voice dripped with menace, the words lingering like fog in the air. Everyone held their breath, bodies taut with fear as they searched the corners of darkness for the source. Who are you? She demanded again, voice steadier this time, but shaking could still be felt beneath the surface. Her eyes narrowed, and she edged closer to the shadows, daring the figure to reveal itself. In response, the silhouette shifted, the edges sharpening slightly. A man stepped out, his frame tall and intimidating, moving with a confidence that sent fresh tremors down her spine. You don't need to know who I am yet, he replied, his voice a low rumble engulfing them in a more profound sense of dread. What do you want? Uncle Ray barked, stepping protectively in front of Savannah, his anger barely masking his fear. Your family, well, let us just say it's of particular interest to me. The figure paused, scanning their faces, the shadows of his features hiding his intentions. And I'm here to collect what was promised. Panic rippled through the room. What was promised? Aunt Marge whispered, her face pale, the flickering candlelight catching deepening shadows under her eyes. Your grandmother had debts, the man continued, and not just financial. The shadows you are so curious about, they don't just linger. They demand payment. I'm here to finalize their transaction. Savannah's heart raced as the implications sunk in. The documents, the curse, the faces of the lost Marcus was only the beginning of their troubles. What does that mean? She managed to choke out. The figure chuckled darkly. It means you're tangled in a web far beyond your comprehension. There are people watching you, lingering all around you, he added, intensity sharpening his gaze. And if you seek the truth, be prepared for the consequences. The lights flickered back on, illuminating the man again, and Savannah felt her knees shake beneath her. He was lean with sharp features, unforgiving eyes that seemed to drill into her soul. This wasn't just some family mystery, it was a warning. "Stop this!" Uncle Ray shouted. "You're scaring my family. What do you know about my mother?" "Oh, she was one of the clever ones," the man said casually, a grin flaring on his lips. "But intelligent women don't always win. You really should have left those files alone, they were meant to stay buried." "What do you want from us?" Savannah asked, stepping slightly forward, desperation clouding her thoughts. Her mind raced as she thought of her mother, of everyone and everything around her that could be in jeopardy because of choices she'd made. "Just listen, little girl," he replied, his demeanor icy. "The truth isn't always a friend. It can twist and bend until it breaks those who seek it. If you want to survive," he paused dramatically, as if savoring each word, "you'll need to make a choice. Are you willing to pay the price?" Savannah's breath quickened. "What price?" The man's eyes gleamed, and he stepped closer, invading her space, lowering his voice almost to a whisper. "Find Emily. Discover what your grandmother hid, and decide who to trust." The corners of his mouth twisted cruelly as he took a step back, blending into the shadows effortlessly. But remember, a sudden crash echoed through the room, startling everyone. The figure seemed to vanish completely, leaving only a lingering whisper. "The clock is ticking, Savannah. The past is here, and it's hungry." Her heart thundered in her chest as the reality of his words settled. What other horrors awaited them? With dew of fear trailing down her back, she turned to her family. "We have to find Emily. We have to uncover the truth." Before she could utter another word, a distant sound, a soft thud, came from the hallway, chilling her blood. "They were not done yet, Savannah," Uncle Ray warned, eyes wide with fear. "Someone's still here." In an instant, the layers of their family's buried secrets thickened, the weight of unseen eyes pressing against them like the unyielding grip of the unknown. And Savannah's heart screamed a silent plea. Who would betray next? The air buzzed with tension, heavy and palpable. Savannah's eyes darted between Uncle Ray and Aunt Marge, whose trembling hands gripped each other tightly. In that moment, the walls around them seemed to close in. The thud echoed again, more deliberate this time, a taunt from the shadows just beyond their sight. "Stay back," Savannah whispered, heart pounding. Every instinct screamed at her to run, yet curiosity and fear held her in place, a precarious balance. She stepped forward, the floor creaking underfoot, her mind racing over the man's words. "Find Emily. Discover the hidden truth." What if it's Emily? Aunt Marge's voice cracked, soft and uncertain. "Then we won't know until we look," Savannah replied, trying to sound braver than she felt. She inched towards the hallway, feeling the ghost of the unseen presence that lurked within the walls. "Savannah, no!" Uncle Ray shouted, reaching out to grasp her arm. "We can't take any chances. We need to call the police. Maybe barricade ourselves, and don't you get it?" She shot back, the edge of desperation creeping into her voice. "It doesn't matter what we do. Whoever that man is, he's not going to just let us walk away. The answers we need are out there. And we can't face Grandma's past without facing this." Uncle Ray faltered, the fight ebbing from his stance, and in that moment, Savannah felt the fear shift. It was transforming into determination, a jolt of electricity coursing through her veins. She squeezed his hand, a silent reassurance to keep him from falling apart. Then, just as they braced against the living room's growing shadows, a chilling howl reverberated from the hallway. The sound coiled around them, piercing through the night air. It wasn't just a wind, it felt alive, an anguished cry that sent shivers down Savannah's spine. "Emily?" She breathed into the void, her voice so small compared to the gathering storm. A sudden flicker of light broke through the darkness, the glow from her grandmother's study. It illuminated the path ahead, taunting her as if beckoning. Savannah looked back at her family, eyes glistening with urgency and defiance. "Come on. We need to see what she left for us." "Something in that room could help," she said, her voice firm now. She didn't wait for a response, charging towards the source of the light. Each step felt like a countdown, her heart drumming a wild beat in rhythm to the encroaching chaos. Shadows seemed to stretch and shift, whispering secrets from the corners of the house. Inside the study, the room lay in disarray, thick with dust and layered memories. Books toppled over, papers scattered like fallen leaves. As Savannah crossed the threshold, the smell of mothballs and musty old wood clung to her, wrapping around her senses. Her eyes landed on the desk. The grand mahogany centerpiece still stood proud amid the chaos. And there it was, a dusty USB drive glinting in the light. It sat on top of a pile of files with her name scrawled on the top one. "Is this?" she stammered, feeling weighty suspicion creep back into her spine. "Open it," Aunt Marge urged, peering over Savannah's shoulder, her hair disheveled and wild, eyes wide with a mix of excitement and fear. "Here goes nothing," Savannah whispered, hesitating just a moment as her fingers brushed the cool surface of the USB. What secrets were hidden within its tiny casing? She plugged it into the nearby laptop, breath hitching as the screen flared to life. Icons flickered, and Savannah's heart raced. This was it. This could unravel everything, expose her family's darkest secrets, and possibly lead her closer to Emily. Suddenly, a loud bang shattered the quiet, echoing from behind her as if the shadows had come alive. Savannah's eyes shot open, pulse roaring in her ears. They weren't alone. "Get back!" Uncle Ray shouted, panic spilling into his voice. Fear erupted within Savannah, and in that instant, a piercing realization struck her. She was no longer just looking for answers. The very act of digging into her grandmother's past might unleash something far more sinister than she ever anticipated. The door splintered open, revealing a figure cloaked in darkness. Savannah's stomach churned. Who or what awaited them now? "Here!" she screamed, scrambling to the laptop, knowing they had mere seconds to discover the truth before it was too late. She felt the weight of her choices pressing down, every second critical. Would she be able to uncover the darkness within her family? Or would the secrets consume them all? And as the door crashed open, the loud creak of wood splintering filled her ears. A new game was about to begin. The dark figure stepped through the doorway, the dim light casting a looming shadow that seemed to stretch toward Savannah as if eager to snatch her back into the blackness. The air crackled with fear, sweat prickling at Savannah's brow. Her heart thundered louder than the splintering wood. "Who are you?" Savannah called out, her voice barely above a whisper. She didn't recognize the face hidden beneath the hood, but a chill ran up her spine, warning her that every instinct should scream to run. "Savannah." The voice was low, gravelly, and unmistakably familiar. "It's time to finish what was started." Savannah's breath caught in her throat. It couldn't be. The man in front of her wasn't just any stranger. He bore an unsettling resemblance to the photograph she had seen in Grandma's old albums, a distant cousin, long presumed lost to the shadows of time. "Emily's blood runs through your veins," he continued, stepping closer, the light catching a glint of something sharp in his hand, a knife. "And she knows you're here. She watches you." "Stay back," Uncle Ray shouted, pushing Savannah behind him, his fists clenching. She could feel the intensity of his fear pulsing in every muscle, yet he stood firm. Aunt Marge's hand flew to her mouth, stifling a gasp. "Emily? She's alive? Alive? Or trapped?" The figure scoffed, an eerie smile breaking through his hood. "It's not as simple as you think. What you're digging into could bring her back or bury her forever. The choice is yours." Savannah was trembling now, emotions boiling within her: outrage, confusion, fear, but one feeling surged forth more mighty than the others: determination. She blinked back the haze of panic, gripping the edge of the desk as if it were her anchor. "Why should we believe you?" Savannah spat. "You have no idea what we're dealing with." His smile widened, but it lacked warmth. "Oh, but I do. Your grandmother wasn't just a sweet little old lady, was she? Secrets, Savannah. They run deeper than you realize. She had a reason for hiding the truth." "What do you mean?" "Everything you thought you knew, everything you think you've discovered, it's all a mirage." Before she could respond, he lunged toward the laptop, moving faster than she expected. Savannah had no time to react as his fingers brushed against the USB drive, sending an electric pulse of panic through her. "No!" she shouted, leaping in front of him, desperate to protect the fragile link to her grandmother's hidden past. In the chaos, they collided. Savannah felt the force of his body pushing against hers, a jolt of raw adrenaline surging through her as she wrestled to pull the drive away. But he was too strong. "Stop this!" Uncle Ray yelled, rushing in to help. "Don't you see? You're fighting the person who holds the key." The figure snarled as he twisted the drive free, the device slipping from Savannah's fingers like sand through an hourglass. With a sickening crunch, it hit the floor, shattering into pieces. Savannah's heart dropped. All the answers gone in an instant. "It's too late now," he hissed. "Now you'll never know," but before he could finish, a blaring alarm suddenly erupted from the laptop. The screen showcased a rapid cascade of documents, files spilling forth, data swirling in chaotic arrays like a digital storm. "Get out of here!" Uncle Ray screamed, pulling Savannah back. "We're not safe." "Wait!" she cried, her voice rising in desperation as the figure reeled away, eyes wide in shock. The screens flashed ominously, and Savannah's heart raced. "Something's wrong." "You can't," he gasped, panic dawning on his face. Light poured from the laptop like a beacon, illuminating the study and revealing shadows creeping across the walls. "What is happening?" Aunt Marge's voice was barely a whisper, the air thick with dread. Savannah felt it too, a growing sense that whatever was unleashed from the shattered USB was surging to life. The minute hand of fate ticked louder in her ears. They had unleashed something powerful, something that could very well swallow them whole. As the floor trembled beneath their feet, Savannah faced the figure, whose poise shifted from menacing to terrified. "You don't understand," he shouted, stepping backward. "You have to." Before he could finish, the lights flickered violently and darkness erupted, engulfing them once more. "What have we done?" Savannah shrieked, her breathing rapid and heavy. And as the shadows tightened around them, she felt a pulse of something deep inside her, the same blood that coursed through Emily's veins. But would that be enough to uncover the truth, or would it lead them closer to their doom? The darkness writhed, and Savannah realized with a chilling dread, something was coming for them, and it was angry. What waited behind the veil of shadows? And would they survive long enough to unearth their family's deadly secrets? The shadows whispered, slithering around Savannah, clawing at her skin like icy tendrils. Her heart thudded erratically in her chest, sensing the malevolent force that awaited just beyond the veil. The darkness seemed alive, rushing her with a deep, guttural hum, pouring dread into every crevice of her being. "What is happening?" Aunt Marge's voice cracked, a fragile note of terror that echoed in the gloom. Savannah felt the figure stumble backward beside her, his earlier bravado collapsing as the light from the laptop twisted and turned, projecting her fears into the very air they breathed. This was no mere power outage. It was as if every shadow was stretching, reaching for something or someone. "Everyone, stay close," Uncle Ray's voice barked. He gripped Savannah's arm, pulling her back as the air thickened, closing in, stifling. The laptop whirred and blazed, casting a frantic flicker that revealed their surroundings. Dust motes danced in the air, caught in the chaotic light. Just beyond the desktop, shadows scurried, taking form, twisting their edges like the nightmare shapes of her childhood. "What did you release?" Uncle Ray demanded, his voice low and fierce, squarely aimed at the figure who now seemed more shadow than man. The cloaked stranger hesitated. His breath quickened. "I didn't." Before he could finish, a piercing scream rattled the walls. A specter emerged from the inky blackness, a vision of Emily, her features distorted, mouth agape in a silent wail that felt like an ice pick driven deep into Savannah's heart. The resemblance was undeniable. The family resemblance hung heavy in the air. "Emily," Savannah gasped, an icy chill gripping her throat. But that wasn't her grandmother. It was a mere specter, morphed and twisted into something unrecognizable and terrifying. Emily's eyes glimmered like those of a predator, searching. For what? Savannah was frozen, her instinct to flee battling with an unshakable need to understand. "What are you Feel it. The figure shouted, voice sharp against the cacophony of Emily's ghostly moans. The darkness, it feeds off your fear, it knows your secrets. Will you succumb? What does that even mean? Savannah's voice trembled, warring with disbelief. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. She was supposed to find answers, not be thrown into an abyss of terror. Savannah. Uncle Ray pulled her closer, commanding her attention, his brow furrowed with a mix of fear and protection. We need to think. Find a way to stop this. The spectral image of Emily flickered, a blossoming, uneasy energy crackling in the air around them. The very fabric of reality seemed to bend, dulling their surroundings until even the memories of warm sunlight felt miles away. You unleashed her. The figure screamed suddenly, panic lacing his voice. The file's historical truths hold the power to bind her. You must seal the breach before it consumes us. Savannah's mind raced. The mysterious files? Were there answers hidden within their chaos? Was the chaos even truly hers to control? How? She fought to find her footing in the onslaught of it all. How do we seal the breach? Confront her, he urged, desperation threaded in his tone. Face the truth of your lineage. Connect to the blood before she devours us both. The ground shook, and the walls vibrated. Emily's image contorted, twisting, elongating as if to lunge. Uncle Ray's grip tightened on Savannah, courage colliding with terror as their eyes met. Savannah, he breathed, and she could see it, doubt and the understanding that their lives hinged on her actions now. The specter hissed, dark energy coiling around it like venomous fog. Savannah felt the pull of it, drawing her closer and yet so far away. I will not be lost. The shout broke free from Savannah's lips, igniting something deep inside her that burned against the shadows. A force roared within her, an ancestral calling beckoned her to embrace the darkness. But would answering that call mean embracing Emily's fate as well? As the world trembled beneath her resolve, she realized that a single choice awaited her, one that could save or condemn them all. You were wrong, Emily isn't dead. Savannah yelled, as if her voice could etch a reality into existence. And in that moment, the shadows convulsed, swirling like a tempest around her, and she felt the imprints of Emily's stolen history weaving into her own. What truth lay sewing the seams of shadows? And could the blood connection reveal salvation or destruction? The shadows writhed like serpents, coiling closer to Savannah as she stood her ground, heart pounding like a war drum. The space around her vibrated with a dark energy, raw and unyielding. Emily's specter loomed, her form shifting, flickering like a faulty neon sign, each alteration igniting new fears taunting Savannah from the corners of her mind. The weight of her ancestral legacy felt like iron chains, tightening with every breath. Savannah, focus. Uncle Ray's voice was taut with urgency, a lifeline in a sea of hysteria. What do you remember? The files? Anything. She felt soaked in memories distant, whispered secrets of her grandmother's life, sweet tales from childhood warped by this supernatural trough. I need to remember what Grandma always said about the past. About darkness. Emily, what do you want? Savannah shouted into the chaos, her voice betraying a tremor that broke through her resolve. The specter tilted its head, its predatory gaze intensifying, searching Savannah's soul. I want you to remember. Emily hissed, her voice now a guttural blend of anguish and malice, resonating with the shadows that shrouded her. You are inheriting more than just a name, child. You carry the weight of my past and the sins of our blood. Savannah shuddered, every strand of her being screaming to look away, yet an invisible thread bound her, pulling her toward the truth. The image of her grandmother flickered again, the truth glowing in her haunted eyes. You must confront why I am lost, I don't understand. Her panic echoed around the room, fought against the quaking walls. You must accept it. Uncle Ray's voice resonated with firm urgency, injecting perhaps the last ounce of bravery into her heart. You can't control the shadows unless you connect with them. Savannah's mind reeled. This wasn't just about facing the ghost of her grandmother. It was about understanding her own fears and the mistakes of a lineage laden with darkness. As memories flooded back, a rush of voices hummed within her mind, horrific tales of betrayal, ambition, and spiritual despair woven through her lineage. She grasped the edge of the laptop, its screen glitched and turbulent. But within that chaos swam fragments of her inheritance, piles of digital files, records of family secrets, lessons dark and heavy. I remember the files. Grandma wanted me to find them, but they're not in the physical world. They're connected to you. The truth lies with me. Emily snarled, her mouth stretching impossibly wide, teeth glinting like shards of broken glass. No, I refuse to let you control me. Savannah's voice spiked with determination. The air crackled as she felt the shadows retreat slightly in reaction to her urgency. I will own my past. I will own the fear. Uncle Ray nodded, eyes fierce with pride. You have to feel it, save embrace the pain, the hurt. It's part of you. The darkness roared, launching forward with a violent swell, and in a moment of clarity, Savannah didn't just see the specter of her grandmother, she felt her aura, entwined with grief and rage. You won't take me down. Savannah screamed defiantly, her voice rippling through the darkness, transforming her fear into strength. She plunged her thoughts into the chaotic sea of shadows, reaching for the fractured history that bound her. With every ounce of courage, she began to chant the ancient, forgotten words her grandmother whispered, a lifeline across generations. I am not afraid. I am your reckoning. The shadows screeched, as if in agony, twisting around Emily, crackling violently as Savannah held nothing back. The spectral figure gnashed its teeth, thrashing against the binding ties woven through Savannah's history. But deep down, beneath the layers of darkness, there was a glimmer of understanding, a glimmer of connection. Emily's form began to flicker, her anguished eyes searching Savannah's, as if realizing something. You are stronger than I thought. The shadows shuddered, inches from swallowing Savannah whole, but she stood defiantly, anchored in her bloodline's power. You will not take me, Savannah shouted. Again, barely hearing the thundering silence that followed her declaration, the world around them dimmed, time stretching thin like a taut rubber band about to snap, and she realized the echoes of her family could provide the guidance to defeat her grandmother's ghostly wrath. But would it be enough? And what further secrets lay hidden beneath the surface of the familiar, waiting to erupt? As the shadows writhed, their formerly oppressive grip began to loosen, and then Savannah heard it, a whisper, softer than a breeze, but clear as day. You still have so much to learn. What more awaited in the nether corners of her past? Would she be the key to sealing the darkness, or merely a pawn in a much grander scheme of shadows? The air crackled with tension and electricity that surged through Savannah's body, stoking the fire that burned deep within her spirit. The whisper cut through the chaos, as if a door had been opened to another world. You still have so much to learn, echoed in her mind, an unsettling promise that twisted her gut into knots. What do you mean? She hissed, her breath coming out in quick bursts. Shadows flickered around her, coiling tighter as if daring her to unravel their secrets. Show me. Emily's form seemed to ebb, the dark energy now swirling around both women, merging them in a vortex of history and anguish. To understand me, the specter articulated with a voice that resounded like thunder, you must face the truth buried within the files. The USB think it's just data, but it's more than that. It's my heart, our family's legacy. Savannah's mind raced. The old laptop they had been combing through was not just a relic of family history, it was a vessel of power, pulsing with the weight of their shared pain. But how? You must reach inside, child, Emily urged, her shimmering form flickering with desperation. You can't just read my past, you must feel it. Accept the darkness and then use it. Accept the darkness? Savannah's heart felt heavy, the shadows now dancing in sync with her doubts. What if I can't? What if it consumes me? Emily's eyes held a glint of sorrowful strength. Only by surrendering to it can you wield it. My burden is your inheritance, Savannah. Do not shun it, let it guide you. The chance for transformation hung in the air, and as the shadows writhed closer, Savannah grasped her resolve. I will not fear you, she declared, drawing in a deep breath. I will learn. With a newfound sense of purpose, Savannah plunged again into the dark energy, straining her senses against the tumultuous waves of regret and despair that emanated from Emily. The chaos of memories flooded her mind: betrayal, love lost, dreams shattered, and every fragment resided within the digital file, waiting to be unlocked. Closing her eyes, Savannah chanted the unforgotten words again, a mantra meant to anchor her while she delved into the depths. "I am not afraid. I am your reckoning." The shadows resonated with her voice, twitching, vibrating, pushing back against her spirit. For just a moment, clarity cut through the murkiness. She envisioned the USB drive, the very conduit of her grandmother's life, and the truths trapped within its virtual realm. "What do you want me to find?" she called out, her voice echoing against the dark void. Images flickered past her, snapshots of the past that felt familiar, yet alien. Names she barely recognized. Faces she had only heard whispers about. Connections that shaped her existence. Then she saw it, an image of a family tree twisting and knotted like the gnarled branches of an ancient oak. Shadows danced around it, flickering with a life of their own. Names faded, replaced by darker annotations, secrets too heavy to bear. "You must find out who you truly are," Emily urged, her figure deteriorating in and out of focus. "In those files, you will discover your true power." Savannah's fingers tingled as they hovered over the laptop. "I can't, I'm scared." Panic threatened to filter back into her voice, but she pushed it down, feeling the warmth of empowerment igniting within instead. "You're stronger than that. You've always been." Uncle Ray chimed in from the periphery, his eyes fierce. "Dig deeper, Save. Unplug that USB. Make this personal." Spotting the USB drive peeking from the side of the damaged laptop, Savannah felt a magnetic pull. It was more than just a flash drive, it was a key to reclaiming her legacy. Drawing upon everything she had learned, she steadied her hand, gripped it firmly, and unplugged it with a decisive snap. The vibrations intensified, the shadows surged with fury, wailing as the light of revelation shimmered in Savannah's eyes. The past was rushing back, unrelenting, its grip tightening around her consciousness. "What will I find?" she whispered with a steady heart, feeling the buzz of danger at her fingertips. Would she confront a hidden truth? And was the dark energy simply a reflection of her fears? With her heart racing, she felt a storm brewing just beneath the surface. What awaited her in that USB? Would she unleash the dreadful truths that had lain dormant? The fate of her lineage hinged on the impending revelation, and with each beat of her heart, Savannah knew she was teetering on the brink. In that moment, the shadows wailed in sorrowful anticipation, and the uncertainty lurked closer, nudging her to take the next leap into the abyss. What truth would she awaken? What more must she confront? The air shimmered ominously as Savannah felt a gentle tug from within the USB, drawing her in like a moth to a flame. Savannah's heart raced as she pulled the USB drive free, feeling an electric charge shoot through her. It felt like the weight of worlds rested on her shoulders, and in that moment, she understood. This wasn't just about her, it was about every secret hidden in the folds of her family's history. Uncle Ray tightened his grip around her arm, steadying her as the shadows twisted around their feet like smoke. Emily's specter loomed, fear and sorrow etched on her features, but it was clear now she was more than a haunting. She was a reflection of the family's buried past, a past that Savannah had the power to confront. "Open it." Aunt Marge's voice quivered, but as anxious as she was, Savannah could also sense a flicker of hope. With a deep breath, Savannah plugged the USB into the nearest laptop, the screen flickering and buzzing to life. It felt like the calm before a storm, the air humming with expectation and dread. As the files loaded, an inexplicable warmth filled her, as if her grandmother's spirit was resting beside her, ready to impart all the secrets they had forgotten. "Dear family," the words appeared, just as before, but they felt different this time, charged with energy, as if they were lifting the curtain between them and forgotten truths. Savannah's breath hitched, determination filling her chest. She felt the shadows backing away, waiting for her to unravel the tapestry of her lineage. Savannah Emily's murmur echoed through the dim light. Find the truth. Only that can release us all. Savannah nodded, her fingers trembling slightly, but she pressed on, opening the adjacent files one by one. As images and letters poured across the screen, clarity washed over her. Photographs of long-lost relatives, each face carrying its own burdens, glinted like stars in a dark night sky. Each image was a heartbeat in the legacy, a whisper of joy, a sigh of sorrow. Then came a letter. To my dearest Emily, it continued, revealing tales of heartache and love, a family once rich with connection but frayed by secrets. Her grandmother spoke of betrayal so deep, it had twisted their fates in a dark spiral. To heal, the truth must be confronted. Our blood carries shadows, but you, Savannah, are the lantern. You can bring us back into the light. Savannah felt tears prick her eyes as she recognized the pain not just of Emily, but of everyone in that room. Their lives, tangled like roots underground, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover them. To end the cycle. Emily? She called, voice steady despite the storm surging around them. You're part of this legacy too. But I'm not afraid anymore. I will carry your truth. I will heal us. The shadows surged in reaction, swirling chaotically around her. Don't let them in. Don't let them take you. Uncle Ray shouted, his hand squeezing her arm tighter. But Savannah leaned into the energy swirling around her. I'm not afraid of you. You're part of me, she yelled, thrusting her hand toward the cold shadows, battling the entity that sought to consume her family. And just like that, Savannah felt a powerful connection, the words of her grandmother intertwining with her willpower. The shadows shivered, retreating as she conjured warmth from within, fueled by love and acceptance. Every secret binds us, but I will break the chains. I choose to be stronger. As her voice arced through the tumult, the shadows recoiled with a collective wail, sensing their hold weaken. Emily's ghostly form flickered at the edge, but a spark of understanding burst through the darkness. Yes, yes. Show me. The swirling shadows collided, the remnants of anger escaping in sharp flashes of chaotic light. In that moment, Savannah felt the very essence of her being ignite, combining fear with a newfound strength, a fire born from understanding. Emerge, she commanded. Face the truth. Leave behind betrayal. A force erupted from her core, spiraling into the void, shaking the very foundation of the space around them. The specter of Emily burst forth, her form shimmering with colors of vibrant life. The truth, wild and untamed, surged around them, cleansing the darkness, unraveling the years of hidden sorrow. Savannah watched as the shadow-eaten form of Emily transformed, illuminating into a radiant light, poignant with memories of joy, pain, and love. Thank you, Emily whispered, tears spilling from her spectral eyes. The shadows began to retreat, and with their fading, the room transformed. Where once there was darkness, light flooded in, illuminating the faces of her family as they stumbled back, bewildered yet safe from the void. Tension between Savannah, Uncle Ray, and Aunt Marge melted into a profound sense of relief, acceptance washing over them. You did it, Uncle Ray exclaimed, his voice shaking with gratitude. You freed us. A soft smile graced Savannah's lips as she took a step towards the reformed Emily. No, we did it. The specter nodded, a serene moment settling upon the once chaotic room. Shadows no longer flickered like impending doom. Instead, they whispered history, stories waiting to be recounted, waiting for understanding. As she embraced her family, Savannah felt the warmth of their togetherness crown the chaos. One by one, they shed the burden of secrets, replacing it with shared stories that danced around them, healing old wounds, lighting the way ahead. From that moment on, the legacy of the past shifted, woven into the tapestry of truth and love. The haunting became a legacy of strength, forged from the darkness of despair into a beacon of hope for generations to come. As they opened the door to the future, the light of understanding filled every corner of their lives. They would uncover every story, find Emily, and cherish every hard-fought truth. This was their family. Bound together, broken, yet healing, ready to step into the light. Now, it's your turn. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that could change your legacy. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and show your love. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about what happens next. What did you think about the ending? And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this conclusion. Your support matters. Be part of this amazing community.